Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 72-year-old Colorado resident Rebecca Lavrenz was seen on Capitol grounds. She was there long before most other people arrived. She got there around 9:30 in the morning. So she didn't even go to see Donald Trump's speech. And she stood behind the police barricades until the mob showed up hours later. And they were pulling the barricades apart. And Lavrenz later admitted to the press that the crowd got, quote, riled up because they found out that Vice President Mike Pence wasn't going to block the certification of the election as Donald Trump wanted him to. So after the barricades were breached, Lavrenz followed the mob onto the East Plaza. She stood on a set of Capitol steps. She was about 2 to 3 rows back from the police. And as the mob pushed the police back, Lavrenz advanced toward the building. So she moved up along with the other people. She moved onto a balcony and she started chanting, "It's our house. You can't take it. You can't take our house," something like that. No, it belongs to all of us. And nobody is taking it from you, crazy lady. Anyway, nearby Trump terrorists were assaulting officers. So she was right there. She saw all this going down. They were trying to force their way into the building through the rotunda doors. And a short time later, they succeeded. So they fought the police. They got the doors open. So that's when Lavrenz was seen illegally entering the building. First, she headed to the rotunda. From there, she was seen walking towards the Senate chamber, but somebody told her that members of Congress had already been evacuated, so that's when Lavrenz turned around and she exited the building. So Lavrenz was arrested on December 19th of 2022, and she was charged with entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol building. Unlike most other January 6 defendants, she refused a plea deal. She instead opted for a jury trial. Well, the jury deliberated for a couple days, and ultimately they found her guilty on all counts. This was in April of 2024. So Lavrenz faced a combined 3 years in prison, 12 years of probation, and $210,000 in fines. And this time the prosecutor asked for 10 months in prison, 1 year of probation, 60 hours of community service, and $500 of restitution. And the government also told the judge they wanted him to impose a fine because Lavrenz had been fundraising for her case, but they didn't specify an amount. Lavrenz, though, had raised over $230,000 when they submitted her sentencing memo. And when I checked her GiveSendGo account last weekend, it showed that she's still raising money. So she's still saying she needs cash for an appeal because of her sentence. And the prosecutor explained to the judge that Lavrenz has, quote, been one of the loudest public voices calling the prosecution of January 6 rioters a corrupt exercise. They said, look, we get she has a First Amendment right. She can say whatever she wants, but, quote, her unrepentant promotion of the riot is powerful evidence that she continues to pose a threat to future acts of political violence like that which engulfed the nation on January 6th. And they cited an interview that she gave, which she gave this interview to the alt-right extremist loon, Joel Altman, who I've mentioned. I mentioned him recently, basically inciting violence against the left. So in that interview, Altman talked about using force, and Lavrenz nodded and she said, quote, the weapons of our warfare aren't carnal, but mighty, you know, and whether it's prayer, whether we do have to take action, whatever it looks like, we each have a different calling to that. Obviously, because of my arrest, I can't even have a firearm. So she's clearly saying, yeah, some people might want to take action that's violent, but I can't because I can't have a firearm. And then Lavrenz also lied numerous times during her trial. This is according to the prosecutor. So at her sentencing hearing, Lavrenz told the judge that when she went to the Capitol on January 6th, it was, quote, out of obedience to God. Yeah. As Susan B. Anthony once said, I distrust those people who know so well what God wants them to do because I notice it always coincides with their own desires. I mean, I'm sure these people hear a voice in their head. That ain't God. That ain't God. That is a sign that you need to seek help. If your God is telling you go and attack the Capitol because of a fairy tale about election fraud, yeah, that's not God. Anyway, Magistrate Judge Zia Faraquai presided over Lavrenz's case for some reason. It wasn't a U.S. district judge. He was pissed. He was pissed about her public comments about the justice system, and Judge Faraquai called them offensive. And according to the Associated Press, the judge raised his voice several times during this sentencing hearing, and he told Lavrenz that even though her case was less serious than others, quote, it's still a grave offense. So when all was said and done, he sentenced Lavrenz to only 1 year of probation, 6 months of home confinement, and a $103,000 fine. So evidently, she has already spent $120,000 on legal fees. That's according to her attorney. And the attorney said that she spent an additional $95,000 on a retainer for her appeal, another $9,000 on travel and hotel expenses related to the case. So anyway, this is obviously a BS sentence. This woman has taken zero responsibility for her actions. She has shown no remorse. I have no doubt that she will do it again. You know, when she hears God, quote unquote, telling her to go commit crimes, because that's what God does. Anyway, I'll let you know when I hear more, especially if Trump loses. I definitely expect to see her back at the Capitol. All right. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.